Hello everyone watching on YouTube and listening on Spotify. It's another episode of NRG Insights. For those that don't know, this is a podcast where we talk to people in the mortgage world. So whether that be lending, broking, or kind of the ancillary products that we use and services that we use. And on that side of things today, I've got Ash Borland with me today, who is an expert marketeer for mortgages. So thanks for joining me, Ash.
Hey Marcus, thank you for having me on, mate.
No problem. Second time, isn't it?
Yeah, it is second time. Last time we spoke, I had a great time, and it's been about 2 years.
I just had the same conversation with someone else. It was like 2 years. God, this is a labour of love, right? I love speaking to people, but it's just a constant.
It's hard work, isn't it? Podcasting is hard work. And it's interesting because I do follow your show, so I think it's a good show. This show, and it is one of those where you do find it's tough because you've got to come week in, week out.
Yeah, and it's nuggets of it, and everyone's got something great to say as well. I mean, I always feel like I'm quite blessed in the sense that I'm speaking to business owners every week. It's like a free business coaching for me, and also adds value to my customers. It's great. But at the same time, you've done it, haven't you? It's a constant that you've got to think about.
Yeah,
it's fun to get guests and stuff as well. People are always, I'll do it. I can do it then, and that's cool. I actually have a job outside of this.
Oh yeah, that's the issue. I forget that. Well, that's why I've said to you before. I've kind of taken a hiatus of interviewing people at the moment, purely because of that reason. I hadn't said it, but is that you forget. Yeah, if you're probably like me, and people who listen to this, if you're a broker and you're thinking, I want to do a podcast and stuff. The thing you got to be careful of is, I like talking to people.
Yep.
And I like talking to people in the industry. And quite quickly, without someone controlling my diary, I was doing 4 or 5 a week, and then you're like, oh, my clients can't actually fit in. I can't speak to them because I'm too busy talking to people like you or stuff. And it's good fun, but it can take over.
Yeah. You got to remember we've got business in the background, haven't you? I was I love these, and they do give me good energy. But yesterday it was like a 15-hour day in the city, and then this morning I was like, I've got to follow up on all of that, and I've also got 4 podcasts today.
4 today.
Great. Yeah, I'm all right. I love doing them. It's just all my work I've got to do.
It's just all that other stuff that pays the bills and gets
the stuff that actually makes me any money. Exactly.
The stuff that you're trying to promote through the show.
Ironically, I can't do because I'm too busy advertising myself. Perfect.
Exactly.
So Ash, tell people what you do if they don't know.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Ash Borland. I'm a business coach and brand strategist for mortgage brokers. So I effectively help them simplify success. And over the last few years, I've helped hundreds of mortgage advisors at this point improve their impact online, so like marketing, branding, social media, as well as their income. So things like selling, increasing fees, selling insurance, landing introducers, all of that type of stuff. And so hopefully I'll be able to help some of you guys, your listeners, do the same as well today.
Good. And do you know what? It's a massive thing for a lot of people, especially when you go out. Again, this conversation I had just a minute ago, how many one-man bands there are out there, and you could be a fantastic mortgage broker. I consider it like me at the beginning of my career, or the first 10 years maybe. I'm really good at what I do, and I was the best kept secret in the industry. Like, what is the point? You know what I mean? Like, the whole point of this is, we're not doing it for fun. We all want to get paid, but people don't know how to market themselves because you can't go. Everyone considers their job a bit boring, don't they? But so how do you start that process with people who are just not unmarketable, don't market themselves?
Don't market themselves. That's a great point. So the first thing I'd say when we talk about don't marketing themselves, when I work with people, the first thing I would do when I work with them is I would look at what have you got. Mm-hmm. So the thing we're always drawn to what we don't have. So I need more leads, or I need more, I'm not on social media, or I don't have YouTube, I don't have a podcast, I don't have email marketing, I don't have offline marketing, whatever it may be. We always focus on what we don't have.
Yep.
And so the first thing I do, which has been a very shift since I spoke to you 2 years ago, is I realized when I was working with people, we'd focus on the marketing, we'd focus on bringing what they don't have and bringing it to them. What I realized though is, it's like if you've got a leaky bucket, if your business is not like a one-man band kind of tight ship and opportunities and income is falling out because you're not lazy, but you don't understand it. Then I'm just pouring more water in, and 2 years later, they've just got lots of following, lots of leads, but they're still struggling. They're busy. Yeah, they're even more struggling. They're making more money. Is that where
the coaching came into it over the marketing? Because you're like, hang on a minute.
Yes.
You see so many good businesses that you can see like they do it.
That's 100%.
We don't consider ourselves coaches or anything, but funny enough, same conversation yesterday, lots of meetings in London, but I can go into a business and confidently say that won't work, only because I've been doing it such a long time that it's never, not it won't work, hasn't worked for anyone else. That structure doesn't work. You won't get people on that, and it's not coaching. It's just timing the game of seeing people successful people. You go, well, copy that and it'll be good. So that's what coaching comes from, right?
You're spot on, yeah. So like I'd always gone into marketing from this, and it's been about an evolution for me the last kind of 2 years. And it came from, I ended up taking on, for the last 3 years, I've worked with Matt Chapman. So I coach him. So I'm his coach.
Right.
And I'm going to be really honest with you. With Matt's stuff, I love Matt. He's one of my best mates outside of work now. We're very close.
Yeah.
As Matt started teaching stuff, no disrespect, I was like, people don't know this. I was good at selling insurance and I was a broker, and so when Matt was like, yeah, they don't. He was like, people actually need, and so working with Matt, and then I ended up working with Gary Waters. He's one of my clients as well, and I started working with these other coaches. Probably not the best to work with my competitors as my clients.
We'll talk about that, but yeah,
that's fine. It's all good. But like at the same time, I think I noticed that there was, as you said, like I was a good broker when I was a broker, but I've also worked with hundreds of advisors, both 6 figures, 7-figure businesses, seeing how they've done it. And a lot of the time, you don't need to be you do need to market yourself. But what I found is, you say, what's the first thing, to go back to your question, what's the first thing you should be doing? You should be taking stock of what you have, and how can we maximize the opportunities in what we have. And if that is, okay, we need to look at your process, how are you dealing with your discovery calls? And marketing also doesn't have to be marketing to out new people, what I would call passive prospects. What you would actually do is, how can I use content, how can I use emails to make my current customer's journey better? And that, weirdly, we were seeing people go, they'll come with me and make 60, 70,000, and they're making 150, 200,000 one-man bands. Same people with no marketing.
Do you know what? Funny enough, Ash,
go for it, yeah.
We talked about this year. We wanted to get from X to Y revenue-wise, and I was saying we don't actually need any more customers. What we need to do is stop missing opportunities. There are 270 people on our database that are looking for a job that we don't know about because we haven't marketed them to it, or 80 people, sorry. There are also 270 people that we have slipped through the net last year. There are clients we forgot to ask, is there anything else we can help you with? And actually, that's without me going and doing a single bit of BD. We can stick another quarter on, which is profit, right? Because you didn't have it last year, just by not missing opportunities. And we don't. It's too easy to be in the business and miss. We'll miss stuff, right? Things fall through the net. We're all busy, but there's so much more capacity within your business.
So much. I mean, my mindset shifted into there's 3 categories, and I call it marketing, sales, and customer satisfaction. And realistically, I actually work on the sales first, and then I'll work on the customer satisfaction, which is the internal stuff. How do we make the better experience for them?
The journey.
Picking up opportunities. Marketing's last. And I think that, but don't be wrong, you need all 3.
Yeah. It's still
killer
school,
business.
Right? If you got 2, one before you still fall over.
Yeah, exactly. You still need it, but I would say, and sometimes that's a bit of breath of fresh air for people who are, when I'm talking to them now, because I've always been the guy of get on camera. And by the way, you still need to be on camera.
Yeah.
You still need to do that.
God, have you noticed that this year with LinkedIn? I mean, obviously, New Year, New Me, everyone's posting. See how many people posted in February, because that's when the consistency. But fuck me, they're pushing video on LinkedIn. LinkedIn are pushing video so much heavier than they ever have done before.
Big time. But I'd say with stuff like that as well, be careful. Like for anyone listening to this, and I'm a sucker for this, but it's do what you know. So the strategies we do now, they're very much not algorithm specific, so they're designed around, because the issue is if you're constantly moving. You're constantly changing, and I did that for years. It's this is the latest trend, and it's no, the best thing is a good spread of everything. So if LinkedIn, if you've got 7 days a week, you've got 3 videos, 3 image posts, 1 written post, or 2, and then a flex post about your family or whatever it may be. There's that kind of, when I say flex, I don't mean flex like you're flexing, I mean flexible. I realise that it's not like
me as a group as opposed to me posing with my family.
We can do that if you want. But it's probably you don't. I think if you're a whim to the algorithms, you end up, you can't make a strategy on it because they change it.
Yeah, and they're not telling you beforehand, are they? They're not going, oh, by the way, boys, 6 months' time, we're going to be pushing just written posts, so get busy.
Yeah. They're just, it's supply and demand at the end of the day. Do you
think they're pushing video now because ChatGPT has just taken over people's posts and they're like, actually, fuck off then, you go and do something when we know it's you?
I think so, yeah. I think there's twofold, but I'm just going to sit down and cross-legged. I'm such a weirdo. I think cross-legged, yeah.
You like your I don't know how anyone can do that.
Oh, I stretch every day, mate. You're not very flexible.
I'm not flexible.
You're a big guy.
I can't even put one leg underneath my ass.
I do yoga, mate, for an hour every morning.
Oh, mate.
I hate it every single hour of it. You know when someone's, I hate it.
I did yoga in lockdown thinking, like, I'm going to do this forever. And the second the gym opened, I'm like, I'm not stretched in.
I run without going to this, I go run 5K every day on a treadmill, and I do yoga for an hour, and I do like body weight exercise for an hour. I come from a bodybuilding background, because I'm similar to you. And everyone says, the more you do something, you'll love it. I've done this for 2.5 years now because of health reasons. And I hate every single minute of that hour and a half. It's like an hour and it's like 2 hours every morning. And I'm like, kill me now.
Yeah, you don't realize. It's amazing when people go, oh, no, you'll love it. I know.
I feel good afterwards.
Yeah, I do it.
But no, to go back to your question, sorry. I think you're right. Like, in fact, that was weirdly the thing that me and you spoke about on our last one was AI and like the written content. I remember that, and like you can spot it a mile off. I think that they're probably combating that a little bit. I think also they want a bit of that TikTok money. See how long that works. I don't know.
I don't know if you're paid off LinkedIn. That's what I'm wondering where my
you ain't get it. Yeah,
people like us followers, but you know,
we're in a hyper micro niche. You know, like it's like people say to me, they're like, "Oh, well, your following's not very big," and I'm like, "Well, I work with like this micro niche."
I think when people go like, "Oh, you got 13,000 followers," I go, "Yeah, there's only 14,000 brokers, so you know, it's not the end of the world." I've got quite a big percentage of the people I want to speak to. If I wanted to put in every plumber,
you're pretty well known. I think you're doing well.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I do like it though. This is a big thing, like we talk about the podcast and stuff and the marketing side of things. It's nice that everyone knows it's about trust, right, and building rapport and that kind of thing. And I break down that already without speaking to someone, because people will say, "Oh God, it feels like I'm on the podcast," or "I was listening to you the other day. It feels really strange to see you." And as long as you're authentically the same person where you are, so you can't be great online and then a knobhead when you meet people. As long as you're that, it's real. It breaks down that initial barrier. Like I've never have to do I'm very, very grateful that I never have to do a cold call. Because I'm the same guy. These a lot of 20-year-olds have called up that day, and he can recruit for me, and he's really good. And I'm like, you can't show anyone any value with that. But this is I've shown people's value before, and they can see that I give a shit. But you just can't do that. You know, the old school, bang, bang, bang.
You move into a different. I mean, I don't know if I could do the old school stuff anymore. I used to, but I don't think I could now. But I know what you mean. You do have to be. I've never actually shared this one yet, but you do have to be authentic. Like you said, I hate the word authentic, but at the same time, you're right.
Yeah.
If you go online and you
not
share,
people, I think is more than authentic. You know, you just can't like
exactly. Yeah, you've got to try and be who you are, so that people see who you are and then resonate with it. I had a really bad situation a couple of months ago with this, and I've spoke about it to clients, but not like so. If you go back to this idea of like following the trends, if you follow trends, you will you'll lose who you are and what you're trying to get across, and I think that's a big one. And so I'd spent a couple of months on like watching this LinkedIn creator because I use LinkedIn
from our industry or from another industry.
So this guy was outside of our industry, but it was. I don't know. No, is it right? I'm not saying any names in this because some people listen to them, they'll know. But like I most of my biggest platform is YouTube actually at the moment. But like LinkedIn, I really wanted LinkedIn to work, so I started doing like research and stuff and looking into it. Anyway, the videos, controversial videos do well. Now I'm not a controversial person. Like I'm just kind of like, and probably similar to you as well, Marcus. Is I'm very like I hate the word wise because it's not wise, but I have knowledge in this. I've done it a long time. I obsess on it, and I just put me in front of a camera and talk, and I'll give you the thing. But I tried to be controversial. I tried to be, and I did this one video, and the point was right. The point was right, what I was trying to get across. But and it was effectively and I'll get this. It was that mortgage brokers are moaning that companies like Connell's are stealing their clients. And what I said was, they're not stealing your clients, you're just shit. And what I was trying to say, but I didn't mean it like that.
I know what you mean, yeah.
What I meant was, don't moan about things outside of your control. What you should be doing is just focusing on what you can control. And if you're going to Facebook to moan about other brokers stealing your business, I don't think that's the right mindset
to your client. And also like I think people, but mortgage brokers especially, will go online and tell you how long they've been on hold to Santander for. Like, who gives a shit? I want to know that you can do my mortgage.
Exactly. Like, and I think that so that was one of my points. But the video, I was trying to be controversial, so I was being very like rude. And it was one of these moments where you put a video out, and then you go, because that's what the meta says. That's what you should do. That's like kind of, as you know, the meta as in the people, not meta the company, but meta like what everyone's doing. And And very quickly, when you say about knowing your audience, being true to yourself, just got slapped down like big time, like by the whole. Because then I was like, I've got nearly 17,000 mortgage brokers and financial service professionals follow me on LinkedIn. This is a bad move. And it was. I had to delete it, but that was one of those moments.
Did you delete it?
Got big time, because I ended up. I was right in what I was trying to say, but if a 30-second video doesn't get. And I think the reason why I'm sharing that story...
one negative comment is a fucking echo chamber of like, oh, cool, someone else has said it. Wallop. There's another 5,000 people that agree with them.
100%. And what happened was the individual who commented was somebody I know, and they weren't being rude, but they jumped on it. They were being rude, but I know them, but they were jumped on, but they tagged loads of people in. And I was like, I'm not sticking around because I was like, I just can't be bothered for this. So I was just like, so I deleted it. And I learned from it, but I learned like, okay, cool. The point probably should have been a 20-minute podcast, not a 30-second thing. But the reason why I'm saying that and sharing that with you guys is because
it's because they all listen to this and you're just covering your ass.
Yeah, I'm saying fuck you all. No, I'm joking. No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, it's a good lesson for people to learn is don't try and be something you're not, because I was trying to be something I was not, and it didn't work. And the real me would have just sat there and probably articulated in a much better way in a minute and a half what I was trying to say, and no one would have cared.
Which I do understand, right? The whole point of it is we can go on and whinge about the conditional selling, and it is wrong, and people shouldn't do it, but it's happening. So educate your clients on it's happening. And that's it. That's all you can do. But maybe that is that moan. Maybe that moan online is maybe getting to your clients. But I don't think as a buyer or something, I will look at people moaning. I don't want to know when you're real. It sounds really bad. But I don't want to know. I want to know that guy's like good. He can do it. He's knowledgeable. He's got this authority about him. Maybe or them. But I'm going to edit that. But you know what I mean? I just maybe that's just because I'm a little bit older.
No, I agree with you. I think that's. I think we've gone for a generation or like a period, not generation like people, but a generation online where people overshare, vulnerable to the point of extreme vulnerability.
I get you can be vulnerable online. I get it; it's part of your persona. But when you keep doing it, you go from like vulnerable to victim. And that's not buyer, but that's not.
It's also not like there's something like interesting. So one of the things I've shifted a lot on maybe we're recording this in January, so probably November. I made the shift was less is more. So doing less. Now that I've got kind of a semi-captive audience, and so do you. So I was noticing, and same with anyone. I was like, I've built my career by just hammering people with lots of content, just more. But the issue with that is, yes, it's built me a good career. I'm very happy and very blessed to where it is, but it was not growing because what was happening is, if you're doing all of this content, it's too much for anyone to consume.
Yeah, saturated.
Way too much. So you're oversaturating yourself. And if you're in a like you, Marcus, you're a great example of this. Is like you're in a market of one, really. Like there are other recruiters out there. I'm happy to say that there are other recruiters out there, but there isn't really anyone. There's like you, and then there's everybody else.
Oh yeah, I always feel weird when people say that because we're always like, we want to be the underdog, like nipping at someone's heels, and then all of a sudden people go, I consider you a benchmark, which is a strange position because we're not fucking rich. Do you know what I mean?
I love that when people
do you know what I mean? We're not, I don't live in a 20-bedroom house where people go, God, I want to be like you. I'm like, cool, you can see my humble abode and stuff. I do understand that we're an authority on the market in our space. But it's strange when people say that you're a benchmark, because I consider them like, I drive a Fiat 500, by the way. It's 10 years old.
Mate,
in case anyone's worried that I'm driving around with your money in a Ferrari.
I will beat you on that. Fiat 500 in you is a bit of a funny car, but I would say like I drive, my wife doesn't, but I do drive a 25-year-old Toyota Yaris, which still has the wind down windows.
Like, you've made it, man.
Mate, I've made it. Like, I bought that cash. And
I'm I don't owe anything on my 10-year-old Fiat 500. I just like to put that out there. But I also think it's brilliant. So I park at the train station in the morning. I just nip in and I see all these Range Rovers trying to park their car and they can't get in.
It's great. I like getting people guessing though. Everyone around us, our local, like where we live, or just in some, they can't really figure me out. They're like, why is this guy walking around? His wife doesn't wait full-time mum. And he's walking around all day, but like he's either drunk or he's really rich. That's
the thing to say about. I said the weird thing is about shit cars. We won't harp on about them. But if it was a genuinely shit car, no one would say anything. But because I'm 17 stone and I'm twice the size of my car, but people I don't know will come up to me on the street and go, "That is way too small for you."
You got a normal size Fiat 500 or the
little one? The little one.
Oh God, they're awful cars as well.
Amazing.
I had one of those.
It's a go-kart.
They are like a go-kart.
My brother's 22 stone, so if he gets in next to me, we have to wind the windows down and put this arm around each other and then leave.
Have you got the balaclavas on the back?
The what?
Have you seen that?
No.
You know, the Fiat 500s. Oh my God, you need to look at that. So if you get a balaclava, they're the only car that does. You know, they've got the round headrest.
Yeah.
If you put a balaclava over it,
Looks
my
like
wife had one. It was on our first cars when we first got together. The headrest is the same shape as a head. So
so you lift the in.
It looks like there's people sat in the front all the time. It's super creepy.
Yeah.
Like
I'll do that. My kid, I'll probably borrow a balaclava off my kids.
There you go. Carry on. We're moving off topic now.
Sorry, we've done it again. Forget the cars. We both drive shit cars. But yes, so you get to you were bigging me up, made me uncomfortable. That was what it was.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no. So I was saying like you get it's about less is more. So yeah, what I found was, and I think this is the same for everybody, is if you're trying to get people to come back, you're trying to make people aware of you, and then you're trying to nurture that awareness.
Yeah.
So you're trying to say, I'm here, this is who I am, and then you're trying to say, come back to me each time you come. And so the issue is, if you are creating too much, and this is one of my shift, you actually you end up people just leave.
Yeah.
Whereas if you create just enough that and I do mine, for example, it's like 10 minutes a week.
Yeah.
My podcast.
Really?
That's enough. Yeah, it's gone to 10 minutes a week, and it's enough that if you are brand new, you can listen to it. But if you are somebody who's followed me for years, but you're like, do you know what? I'm kind of exhausted with him now, but I've got 10 minutes.
It's very different. You're in a very different position if you were looking at, like, say, a mortgage broker kicking off. They do need to be out there more, right? They do need to be.
So a mortgage broker does and doesn't. So they do need to be out there more, but they need to look at the type of content they're making. And what I'm saying with me is, like, it's not much different. It's understanding. It's not that I did too much content. It was I wasn't thinking about the client.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about the consumer. So what I mean by that is, with mine, I'll do brokers as well. With mine, me making a daily podcast, because I wanted to make a daily podcast, of which was 30 minutes a day. 2.5 hours. You know, we all know brokers, they ain't got time to take a piss, let alone to listen to me for 2.5 hours a week, plus an interview show where I'd interview someone for an hour and a half. Like,
I've just realised my podcast is all about my ego.
There you go. Nah, it's not. But that's what I mean was I started going, okay, cool. They're brokers. They're busy. What do they need? They need 10 minutes. And if I can give them 10 minutes and 10 minutes of like value, that's great. And that was November and it's gone crazy. Like it really has. Like the uptick on subscribers are going up and up and up and up. I'm doing about 100 to 150 subscribers a month. Wow. Everything's on YouTube. My waiting list has gone up. Everything's gone up. And what I think is the same for brokers is the same thing. Is the content you're making truly built around what your client has the time for? So if you're from working with doctors, are they going to sit through a webinar for 45 minutes? Probably not. So you've got to think about
I might actually title this something about that, about the thinking about the client first, client first marketing and shit cars. That's right though, isn't it? Like, and it rolls back to the same thing we said about them doing the wrong thing when you were talking about being on hold or how shit Barclays fucking CRM system is. That is not something that's relevant to you. It's relevant to you to get off your chest, and that's something we can talk about in a kind of internal environment. But online, everyone's watching.
A big time, So that's one of the things I found that myself. Like, there's a lot of stuff I would talk about things that were affecting me as me. I'd noticed that, which is again, I'd find it interesting. But what's being done well is like how to generate leads. It's how to generate leads. It's very grassroots, basic stuff. I was speaking to somebody yesterday, one of my clients, and they were talking about like their lead magnets, and it's like 6 first-time buyer schemes you need to be aware of. Like that's the type of stuff that's relevant, because that's like, I need that. Not the journey of a first-time buyer. There's a million of those. No one cares about that. I don't care about the journey. I know I buy a house. It's not.
I'm in it.
And even if I'm not, like, I'm like, I know what. Like we constantly go to the basics of like the very vanilla
stuff. That's because everyone sees that online, right? And they've got to start somewhere. And they probably haven't got a coach, so they will go, cool. That guy's got 100,000 followers. What has he written? I'm going to do that. And that is part of the journey. They don't understand the strategy. You know, they don't understand all of the back end stuff. Like I find that when people work with me and they'll be like, when we first work together, they've got a perception of how I am. And then when we work together, they're like, oh my God, you're very, very different to what I thought you were. And I was like, because with everything I do, and I believe everyone should have this, is that there's nothing you see. I hate social media. I hate being public. I hate, like, I love financial services. I hate social media. But everything you see from me there's a design. Oh, your light's going. Love that. It like threw me off then. Everything has a design.
So every YouTube video is turned into a blog, which the blog is turned into an email, which the email is turned into 3 carousels. Those 3 carousels have a you know, like a keyword trigger that will trigger back, so that if you write something on the carousel, you can get the full video. Like, it's all a web of everything.
Yeah.
You need to have that level of design. You do need that.
Not just chucking videos out there and asking why I'm not getting any into it. We're the same.
Exactly.
Like, the podcast is cut up. The podcast becomes my marketing material. I also write a newsletter, which is out on the podcast. Which means I'll tell you what I love about the newsletter, and if it helps people, is that this is maybe like the saddest little thing, but obviously if you've got an Apple Watch, every Wednesday my face appears on your watch. If you subscribe, so there's 3,000 people that my face appears on your watch once a week, and guarantee someone is thinking about recruitment. Do you know, and much as that the newsletters, I don't know who reads them. You know what I mean?
No one needs to read it, mate. They just need to know. They
just need to know it's in, and if everyone finds a little scrap of something, good. But I think it's amazing that 3,000 mortgage brokers once a week let me go. Oh, that fucking.
Yours are great with that as well, because you do your newsletter, but you also do like the clips, so with you, I always think podcast. That's what I think of. Like, that's become very much.
You're the podcast guy. I have to go to people. Oh, by the way, I do recruitment. I don't make any money from podcasts. Yeah.
But that's a great example of it. Is like you've took one thing and made it that one thing. Yeah. And I think that's the bit that any industry. At the end of the day, when people go to brokers and it's different for brokers, not much different. You're still just trying to get attention, and you're just trying to be remembered, and that's it. And in the line of work that you're in, you know, and I'm in, leads get converted in the same way. It might be a longer time horizon. It might take 2-3 years for someone like me, where it might take, what could take 2-3 years for a broker.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, because someone's just done their business, and they've got to go through that journey of trying to do it themselves, trying to go cheap. Speaking to us, not being able to do the fees, and then eventually getting to us. That's why I'm always very conscious of that. I'm never worried that someone doesn't join me straight away, because I understand. I've been through it enough times. I understand that journey, that it seems a lot, and then you want to try and do it yourself, and then and sometimes that cock up might take you a year.
Yeah.
So
I can say my best clients. Well, I've got one client who 5 years. He spoke to me 5 years ago. This is my 6th year of doing this. He spoke to me 5 years ago. He spoke to me every single year for 5 years.
Yeah.
And we joke about him. We joke about it a lot. But he will be like every single year, 5 years, and he literally always goes, "Yeah, I'm going to do it." And then I see him on like a testimonial, like a video call with my competitor of some sort. Yeah. Every time. And when he actually signed up, the actual last call before he signed up was, he went, "Ash, I'm just going to bite the bullet. I've got to go with you now. There's no one else." And I said, "Why did you?" And I joked and I said, "You just thought that everything I was telling you, because it's honest, that's just hard work, and these guys are promising you the world." I was like, and he was like, "Yeah, that's exactly right." And now these guys become clients for life, and that's happened quite a few times now.
But you are very honest about that, aren't you? Like, it's not easy. I had the same conversation in recruitment when you go, "Look, I'm going to sit here. Someone's probably going to sit here in an hour's time, tell you they can find you 10 people. That's cool. They can't. I'm telling you, it's a fucking hard slog to find good people. That's why we charge this amount. I'll put 10 people in front of you later on. They'll be shit. I promise you. I can probably tell you the 10 people they'll put in front of you. But that's not how we do business. If you want to do business like us, and then you always go through that journey. But I do get it. Like, if someone's cheaper than you, or they tell you a good story, who I want 10 good mortgage brokers put in front of them tomorrow. I just know that you can't. And they kind of take that honesty, but like you say, those guys that then buy into your honesty are there for life, right? They're long term.
Once they're there, and to make that relevant to a broker, for example, we talk about honesty. This is something I see with brokers a lot, where the thing that you should not be selling is, you shouldn't be selling that you can get someone a cheaper deal. I love when people do this. They're like, why am I better than someone else? You're in a regulated environment. Every single person has the same products, and I love this thing. Oh, we've got exclusive rates. No, you have a different product code. Because Connells has one to Primus, but you all have the same products. You're in a regulated environment, so
you shouldn't even be saying that.
Yeah, but that's what I say. That's what you should say. If someone says, and I say to people, if they've gone, I spoke to 5 advisors, I always say to my clients, and I'm training them on their discovery call bit, and I'll go, say to them, I've got a bit of concern. Why are you speaking to 5 people? Like, why? And they'll go, I'm just, and they're like, trying to find the best deal. And it's like, well, that doesn't make sense, because we all have the same deal, every one of us, unless they are not a whole of market. And I was like, so the only thing you need to decide is, who do you like? Who do you want to work with? And he's like, and obviously, if I'm number 5, the other 4 you don't like. So if you like me, let's just go ahead. And it's that kind of like pulling. I always love it. It's like take the bullets out of the gun. You know,
they don't know, and they're like, "Oh, I've got this rate. What can you do?" I'll do the same rate.
Same rate. But 20. Well,
you're looking at it. Unfortunately, they're chatting shit, and I can't even get you that rate because you got X, Y, Z. They're
That's
giving
really
you the bottom
cool.
end of the
Yeah,
market. So yeah, and that honesty, those guys will come back to you when that mortgage falls out.
Yeah,
They'll go, cool, you said
will.
that. You said I can only get 5.6 because X, Y, Z, and they've done 4.9. And you go, cool, okay, go with that 4.9. If it doesn't work out, I'd love to have a chat with you, because you can't tell someone that, there's only so much of going, now they're lying.
No, yeah,
You have to
You've got to let them make their own mistakes.
Exactly.
It's like
Like,
you've got kids, you've got kids.
They go, recruiter's doing it for this, and he's doing this, and he's offered this. Okay, I can't compete with that. If he's doing that, I can't compete. So
I'm sure you have a similar thing, Marcus, and I'm sure, and brokers listen to this, I'm sure you do, because it's just sales, and you'll see this. I can identify, and there's none at the moment really, but like I have in the past, you've got clients where I'm like, you're going because you've lost faith. It's not anything else. Nothing I say or do is going to change the fact that you're already jumping off the cliff.
By the time they have that conversation, they've thought about it.
Yeah, you don't know that you probably are going to leave.
Yeah.
I can tell you're going to leave. It's like 3 months' time, you won't be here.
Exactly.
I think that's the thing that, we all know that. And that's the thing I say to advisors, like, it's okay. Like, that's actually what you want to be good at, because that's when you can spend less time. Don't try and save them. Just go, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
You aren't right for
I
them.
honestly believe £1 million brokers, the difference between £1 million broker and everyone else is they know where to spend their time.
100%.
They just know, because they're not better. They are. They're great at relationship management. People come back to them. They're brilliant at customer journey. But they know if it's a waste of time, where to spend their time. Because we can be busy idiots all day. Like, we have to speak to 98 out of 100 people aren't good enough to work with some of the people we work with. So we want to help. You naturally want to help everyone as well. But we've only been more successful when we know to go, look, we've got to cut people off a bit quicker, because we can't help them. Someone can eventually, and they come back round because we're really honest with them. There's nothing we can do for you now, but please speak to me.
You end up being a good Samaritan. Doesn't make you any, a good Samaritan doesn't make you any money, and it just makes you broke. And you can't, it's that whole, like, feed yourself before you, attach your life mask, whatever, before. Like, I like helping brokers coming into the industry. That's one of my kind of passions. Like, because it was a bit of a Wild West when I was coming in. They can't pay me nothing. They can't afford me. There's nothing there.
No, but you're right. Sorry, I keep jumping in. But go. I've spent time with those guys because I love it. Yeah. Then they come back and look at the work. They've got 20 questions. You go, hang on a minute. That's
the only problem. Like, you do have that, but I do think it's knowing. Like, I know when they message me, I'm like, thank you very much. I can't help you. Mm-hmm. That's what all the content's for. And if you need, go somewhere else. And I think, as you say, it's the good advisors. I've got one advisor, and he's Indian, and he's incredible at this, because he understood very quickly. And it wasn't me, it was him. He was like, my clients are Indian.
Yeah.
He was like, they are Indians in London.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, that's who they are. And it's really funny, because years ago, I went to give him a lead. I was like, because I still get mortgage leads come through because I was a mortgage broker. And he literally joked, and he went, if they're a white guy from Cambridge, I don't want them.
It's not my niche.
And I was like, why? And he said, it's not a race thing. He said, it's my niche. Mm-hmm. He said, my clients, and we worked together and we understood it, but he said, my clients, I do a good job for them, and I understand their culture, what they want, how they speak, everything. He said, and then they recommend their friends and their family. He said, and it's getting faster. You start going down that
white Cambridge route, you end up with 4 white Cambridge guys.
Well, that's what he said. He said, I end up with more and more people, he said, who don't understand. He said, and I then have to change my process. And he said, of course, I'm happy to do it. He said, but I've realized that the more I go down that niche, now obviously I'm not saying everyone should only work with a certain race or anything like that.
But there are communities, though. There are communities that work with their communities, and you understand them, and it's easy if you're in it.
I've got a Christian client that does it. She's the Christian.
I only work with bold guys with beards.
There you go. Bald guys' beards drive Fiat 500.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyone else not interested? Yeah.
But I've got Christian. She's the Christian mortgage broker. There's 10,000 people. She's in a mega church. She's absolutely crushing it.
Yeah.
And again, this is what as you said, it's knowing what to focus on and what not to focus. She's posting Bible quotes in her stories.
Yeah.
For ages, she was like, I'm not sure I shouldn't do it. I was like, your niche, your market, whoever it is whoever you are, and that's cool. Don't be embarrassing.
You're not being false, because you are part of that church as well, right? You're not going, I'm going to go into the Jewish community. I know nothing about the Jewish community. You know what I mean? Like, it's bullshit. Which
is what you see people do.
Yeah.
But people see people do this who are like, oh, I want to work with doctors. Why do you want to work with doctors? Oh, well, because they got a lot of money. Yeah, and I'm like, well, you don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with his is he's an Indian guy in London. They're just his friends.
Yeah.
It just happened to be that. I've got one client who worked with angry divorced women. She isn't an angry divorced woman, but she said, I keep working with angry divorced women, and over the years it was like, okay, cool, then I'll just tailor my message to that. It gets really easy as you said, the vehicle starts to compound on itself. The problems are the same, the recommendations are the same. And that's the bit, if we're trying to, and it's the niche thing in some ways, but if you try to help everybody, you will help no one.
Yeah. It's a little bit like my mate who keeps sleeping with dentists.
There you go.
He's found a niche. He can talk to them. He knows. He's asked for girlfriends to be dentists.
Because he knows their world. You know what I mean? That's what it'll be, though. You joke, but it's true. It's that.
Honestly, he came to me the show with his new girlfriend. I'm like, amazing. What's she do? He goes, dentist.
Dentist.
Yeah, 3 days. He goes, I know. I just know how to talk back now. We've met and
my best mate. He's married to a Polish woman, but his last 3 girlfriends before that were Polish.
Yeah.
And so by the time, he said I was just practicing until I'd met her. He said, so I understand. He said, by the time he met her, he could speak Polish. Like they got a house out there, the lot.
Yeah.
But it is true. Like we don't see those things in our life.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah,
we are good at the things we focus on, and I think that's what we need. We should be doing.
I mean,
as
my niche is obviously mortgages and lenders, but the people I'm speaking to. I don't think I could be in a more purple patch in my life. I'm a middle-aged man trying to grow a business, talking to middle-aged people trying to grow businesses. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel their pain. I have a strong empathy for everyone, but these are guys that are going through the same thing as me. I understand cash flow is a problem.
Yeah.
I understand that recruitment is a fucking nightmare. I understand that retaining people is really hard. So
everyone thinks you're rich, as you said. Everyone thinks you're rich because the business is big, but actually, by the time you've done everybody else, it's like you eat last. You know, it's that kind of scenario. You know, so
they get that as well. They're like, well, we've got payroll and stuff. Like, yeah, cool. I've got it. I get it. I understand. You know. So I just think I'm never going to be in a better position than I am now, because I'm speaking to people that go through exactly the same problems with it. And the one barrier in sales and stuff is being able to communicate that empathy to someone going, shit, man, I know what you're going through, but I genuinely do. I'm living it every day.
Yeah. This year, 2025, I'm only working with UK-based mortgage advisors. I've got a completely direct client person I'm working with.
Yeah.
Because again, you just look and go, I'm not going to be coaching my competitors. I'm still out there.
They're all starting to make a few calls.
They're doing really well. It's like when they send you things, go, look what I did this month. And I'm like,
great.
Good for you. I love them. They're both great.
And do you know what? I think that sets you apart as well, that you have taken that on board. You know what I mean? Like you've collaborated with people. I know you're good friends with Matt Chapman. He's done phenomenal things. And also I believe that you're both good people. Do you know what I mean? I think Matt is
then we're working, it's doing well.
Yeah. The lines are coloured.
You all.
But you know what I mean? Like you care. And I think that comes across. I think that's why you get longevity. Matt and you give a shit. You want the industry to improve. And I think when you see people like us as ancillary products, we're not mortgage brokers, we're not mortgage lenders, but you really have to give a shit to go a bit further.
You do. I think that's my thing with it. With Matt, like I said, I don't work with coaches. I've worked with most of them, Craig Skelton, like all of the guys and I get asked a lot, like, why would I do that? I get asked a lot by my wife. Why do you keep doing this? Like Louis Adkins, I've mentored him. All these people who
I love Louis as well, actually, isn't he?
Yeah, so like Louis, Louis didn't even pay me because he was like a kid, and I was like,
he came to me for advice at the beginning, and he's just a nice guy, and you want to help him.
Did you say fuck off? You got to pay me.
Don't need to actually go for free.
Well, I was like, I used to talk to him on my dog walks, and I helped him with all that, because he was a kid, and I was like, but the way I look at it, genuinely.
Now we've got a 6-bed house, and he's got around joking.
I know, I'm sending him a bill,
He's a good kid.
But I do look at it and go, and I think for anybody, just my own personal thing on this is, I think the industry, when I first got into doing this, say 6 years ago, but let's say 8 years ago when I started making it, there wasn't really anybody doing this type of stuff. There was obviously the old school financial services thing. My dad was part of that world, but the kind of community of people helping each other, there really wasn't that in the same way. And I think that I could bitch and moan about it, or I can make a change. And I can't, it's like I can't coach everybody. I do not want to work with large corporates, and that's what people like Matt, they can come in, they can do their, he works with Lloyds and HSBC and all these big companies. And then Gary Waters, he's incredible. Louis, like you say, these guys that come in and you just go, okay, let's just raise the bar together, because
there's enough business for everyone, right? There's enough work.
We all do different things as well. We all do different things, and I also think as well, though, as you say, people like Rosalia are doing well. Rosalia coming in, I think she's incredibly good image for the female kind of empowerment in the industry. There's so many people in it, and I just think in Chris Target, yourself, there are things where I'm like, it's lovely watching.
Thanks for mentioning me right at the end.
Yeah, well, it took 2 years to get me back on it.
Yeah, no, but it is right there, and I don't think there's anyone there that doesn't care or doesn't want to improve the industry. But I do think the same as mortgage brokers and people that come on the podcast as well. They come on for free to give away insights into a business that they're good at. You know,
there's some incredible advisors out there that really are like there are some brilliant ones. And they can get, and I guess I would joke about the whole like fees, like the Connells people. I'm joking, obviously. But outside of that, like there are it's an incredible industry.
You know, I don't know if you know Martin Stewart. I was talking to him earlier, and I was just saying.
Yes, I do. Yeah, London Money.
Yeah, great guy. But he loves to have this persona of like he's not helpful. He's so fucking helpful.
His LinkedIn is hilarious.
Brilliant. And he's helped me so much in my career. You know, he's my first podcast guest, and he got other podcast guests to say yes when when no one knew who I was. I was a good recruiter. I had a few clients in London, and I was trying to be nice to him earlier and say like, you've done so much for my career. I really, but he doesn't. He kind of, and he's the most helpful guy in the world. But he doesn't mind the fact that half the people, he's Marmite, right? And half the people think.
Oh yeah, because his LinkedIn's are incredibly like Marmite.
He's so serious about his career and improving the industry, but he doesn't take himself too seriously. Like he wants to take the piss out of people, and people, if you're a serious person, you wouldn't get him. You know what I mean? Whereas I'm an idiot.
You can tell his stuff. I think he's really funny. I've never actually spoke to him. I know him. I don't know.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be speaking at an event about last year, and then it got cancelled. So I was really gutted. It was.
He's worth
Charlie Lambden's event. It was.
Oh, really?
Charlie Lambden's event. We were speaking at that together, and he was the one I was excited to be. I was like, oh, this is gonna be great because everyone else was like estate agents, and he was there.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's good company, but he really cares about the industry. Yeah. He cares about improving it, but then if you only know one side of him, he will be ripping into people about, well, you only spent an hour on that while you're moaning about your money. Like he thinks you shouldn't be getting paid. Of course he does, but he's.
I like that.
Yeah, no, he's smart. He's smart cookie. But there's so many people like that. So many brokers out there that will kind of.
I've met loads. Andrew Montlake is one of them. Monty, you know, I've got to know Monty quite well, and you know he'll give back loads. There's loads of people like this. I mean, you put them all on blast, but like Sarah Tucker, she's doing really well. Like all of these guys are being really, really like helpful to the industry and giving back. And I think that it's good. I think it's
happening more, isn't it? It's happening more. Like it's been such a one-man bandy insular business for so long. Like where'd you get your leads from? None of the business, none of your business. Where'd you get?
Oh yeah. I see it all the time. Like in Gary Dass's group, actually not Gary, because Gary's a good guy. I get on with Gary, but his group, there's always people in there who are just someone asks a question and they just rip them to pieces. It's like, and I just think, what was the point?
Why?
You know, like they'll go like, how are you a broker? How are you this? And I think, great. If you didn't have anything good to say, why the hell do you say?
I think now about anything negative, man. Just roll on by.
Yeah.
Although, let me tell you, I did do one thing recently, right? And I got blocked by a property developer. But I think he fucking deserved it, right? So, because I hate this conversation about necessary evil. Brokers are necessary evil. Lenders are necessary evil. Recruiters are necessary evil.
Oh, it's not an evil, though, is it?
It's really necessary. You don't have the money to build that. They're making you rich. So he goes on and he's saying, it cost me 700 grand in fees. The broker took his money, blah, 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 tier 4 lender, and people underneath, echo chamber, oh, God, yeah, I feel so sorry for you, these bastards take all our money. I put underneath, 700k in fees, sounds like you defaulted, mate. What did you want them to do with their money? Did you want to keep it, or did you not expect them to do it? Also, the broker didn't start at tier 4, he probably started at tier 1, and then tier 2, then tier 3, and got you the deal he could get you. I don't really understand the necessary evil question mark. And I got blocked. And that's a legitimate question, right? That's a conversational piece to go. 100%. They did not charge you 700 grand up front, mate. They didn't.
No, but people don't want that. That's a big one.
No, what they wanted is people going, oh, poor you. Yeah, they're bastards, aren't they? And they're not.
Yeah, and I think that's wrong, and I think it ruins the narrative. It's like, oh, estate agents are shit, mortgage brokers are shit. No, they're not shit. They're not bad at all.
You can do it without them.
Yeah, you try and do it, as you said, try and do it without them. Yeah. Like, there are bad actors, but they're not as many bad actors as you think. A lot of the time, my dad and me and my dad are very close, but my dad is very like, weirdly, you know, financial services all the time, but he's like, if something is, let's say like Renault is going to put a tyre on. If Renault's going to put a tyre on, it's like 200 quid, but I can get it done for 50 quid down the road with the guy. And he's like, well, they're thieving bastards. And I'm like, no, that's called capitalism.
It's charging.
That's what it's about. Yeah. It's not the same thing. You know, like
doesn't make them a thieving bastard. It just makes them more expensive than them.
and I always see it all the time. My dad's life, and I love him. Like I say, we're very close, but he is a walking. You know that thing when it's like Temu versus Instagram versus reality. Everything, like everything is like,
I can get that
I got this from Temu, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay,
It's shit.
Like, it's shit. Yeah, like we just gave us a flat tire on the car because it's got this thing to put on the car to test. It was a thing to screw onto the tire to test if it was going to be flat or not.
Yeah.
And the thing made the tire flat because it was. And that's why you say. But why I say that is like it is those things. Those are the normally people who say necessary evil.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to have all the money and all the riches of your development or whatever, but pay nobody anything?
That's what I say. Like, if you had the money to not use a lender, you would use your own. You don't. They're making you rich, and they're charging you money for it. And if you fuck up, they want their money back.
That's
it's
the
not like
thing. When people say
evil in that.
My thing about taxes and stuff. People go, "Oh, they're taking tax," and don't get me wrong, taxes are high. I'm not the best, like everything, but at the same time, like if you are in the higher tax bracket, you are earning the money.
You're right.
Like, just chill out.
Yeah,
like, you know, chill, like it's one of the, I think sometimes we have to check our privilege a little bit.
Yeah,
you know? And
yeah.
I think, and as you say, I think that stuff that goes right back to I've learned my lesson about don't call them out. That guy shouldn't have done that. Personally, I think it doesn't do anything for anybody.
Yeah, no, you know what? I could have scrolled on by as well, and I moan about people all the time saying scrolling by, but I thought that was a conversational piece.
It's a good thing. But one thing you'll learn with that is you'll never win.
A bit bitchy of me, but I just
you'll never win. So I always remember a quote that always goes with this stuff like that is this is bad, but I don't know. It's something he said. Arguing with an idiot is like playing chess with a pigeon. I think I told you before. Arguing with an idiot is like playing chess with a pigeon. You're going to put them in checkmate, and they're still going to strut all over the board, knock all the pieces, and shit all over it. Anyway.
Yeah.
And just
well, arguing with an idiot because from far away you can't tell who's who.
You can't, and then you think, okay. And I always remember my dad. Again, he said his dad would say to me in a good way. He's always say, "No one says thank you very much. You proved me wrong."
That was what my comment was going to be a minute ago. At no point did I think that guy was going to go. Do you know what? In hindsight, you're absolutely right. I have to have faulted, and it was a pitfall because I fucked up another development. Yeah, it's the same with arguing, right? No one wins an argument, do they? No one ever goes, "No, hey, you're right." You know, I didn't even look at it from your perspective.
You might afterwards. Like I've had,
but definitely not when you're arguing.
No, like you said, that video that went bad for me. Like I did go, oh, okay, I learned because I'm quite good at doing that.
Yeah,
and sometimes to my detriment. I'm quite good at going, okay, cool. Where did I go wrong here?
Yeah. That is because you could have fought it and argued with all those people in the comments. You could have spent hours arguing with people, just making yourself look worse.
I started writing it. And you know, I started writing it, and then I didn't and deleted it, and then I went to Instagram and did a massive rant on my stories that was like maybe some people listening to this might be the golden people who got the ticket, but like I did this big rant for about 2 minutes all the way through Instagram about it, and then I was like, delete that because that's not. So by the end of it, I came in and I was in the gym and I came back and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna leave it now.
Yeah. I saw something. A recruiter who I like. He posted something recently, and he had to delete it because everyone took it really badly. But again, it's the echo chamber thing. He wasn't being a dick. It was worded incorrectly. He didn't mean it like that. Whatever. He deleted it, and then I was like, pussy. I messaged him going, why did you delete it for? But actually, why not? Just delete it.
No,
it's bad. No one's going to remember next week.
It's not worth the aggro. That's the thing with, and that's why I say with some people, this is like, don't ever, you're never going to live and die by whatever you post. And I think people are worried about, my reputation. If you do something bad and you don't like it,
get rid of it.
You didn't do it bad, but you didn't go. It's not that you did it bad. Like I said, it's a lot of the time. It's that things maybe didn't come out the way.
It didn't land. Yeah, take it out of context. However it happened. Yeah.
And if that's the case, then you're like, okay, cool. It's okay to delete it because tomorrow no one will care.
Yeah,
and genuinely, the next day no one will care.
No.
Like
we text each other, go, do you see you delete that post? And then it'll go.
Yeah. It's like no one cares. But I do think that you it's a funny one that I go that forever.
Yeah, no. Absolutely. So mortgage brokers, if they want, I mean, you've got a waiting list, right? It's pointless me advertising you. You come on just because you're a nice guy. You've got
I just want to come on and talk about it. You can go like if you want to work with me, you can join the list. But what I'd say is if you are a broker and you want to learn about like what to do, go and check out my YouTube channel. That's kind of the main place. That's where the hub.
Get all the free stuff first, before they start putting around in their pocket.
Stuff. I don't have anything for paid other than working at the moment anyway. The only thing I sell is my coaching to my coach's dismay. But I'm not a big fan as of right now. I haven't really thought of their courses or anything. I haven't really decided to do them. So I don't know. Maybe never. I don't really. I'm not a course guy myself, so I don't.
It's hard, isn't it? If you don't get it, like you can't buy into it. Your customers would. If you did one, it would be a big seller.
I think they probably would. But I also think whenever I make a course, I'm like, well, I could just give that away.
Just give it away, yeah.
Because I'm like, I might get, I don't know, 300, 400 people on it, and I might make, a couple of, like, a decent amount of money. Then I'm like, but that is information they could value, and
they'll make money. Yeah.
they'll make money, and then
I'll
make
that
money later when they come back.
You know, like whether it be getting sponsors on the podcast or like we do the ebooks and the salary guides and stuff. And everyone's like, you give a lot of stuff in the background for free. And I'm like, yeah, but there is a return on investment on it. You know, in the fact that people trust us and we're adding value more than other recruiters are, you know, because like you say, we've got the same product.
I think keep the main thing. I like this saying, which is they'll keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I quite like that. I'm a one-to-one business coach, and I'm a consultant for like companies as well. So marketing consultant for companies, and a business coach for mortgage brokers.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel into those, then
the rest of it's free.
The rest is free, yeah. If you can't afford me, or you're not quite ready, or you're in the other thing, the rest of it is free. And if you have a suggestion of what you'd like, I'll make it. It's fine.
Amazing. Thank you, mate. I really do appreciate you coming on. Obviously, all of Ash's socials will be on our socials. Thank you, everyone, listening and watching. It's been another episode of NRG Insights, and I'll speak to you soon, Ash.
See you later,
Cheers,
Marcus.
mate.